Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. My name is Chris Murphy. I'm the junior United States Senator from Connecticut. I'm joined here today by the Acting Commissioner of Labor, Dennis Murphy, by our new mayor in his first week on the job, Luke Bronin, and by Tom Phillips of Capital Workforce Partners. And I want to thank our hosts here today. This is a busy place, and we've made it a little bit busier today, and so we appreciate them putting up with us. We're here today to talk about a new opportunity for businesses and for unemployed individuals in the state of Connecticut. That comes through the long-term extension of the Workforce Opportunity Tax Credit. The Workforce Opportunity Tax Credit is a tax credit that can equal up to $2,400 per employee that is used by employers around the state to hire certain targeted communities of individuals. This has historically been used to help individuals who have been released from prison, individuals who have individuals who perhaps have lower incomes over a history of time, individuals who are veterans. There's a long list of targeted populations that qualify for the Workforce Opportunity Tax Credit. The legislation that we passed at the end of last year added a very important group to that list. That is the long-term unemployed. At the depths of the recession here in Connecticut, we had upwards of 90,000 people who had been out of work for 6 months or more. What has defined this recession and this recovery has been a particular difficulty of people who have been out of work for a long time of getting back into the workforce. People who have been out of work for 6 months or a year have had a very hard time in this recovery finding work. And as you look at some of the unique things about this recovery, that has always stood out. We need to target help to those that have been out of work for 6 months, a year, or 2 years. And this new reauthorization of the Workforce Opportunity Tax Credit does just that. It adds to the list of the targeted populations that are helped by the Workforce Opportunity Tax Credit, the long-term unemployed. It's defined in this act as individuals who have been out of work for at least 27 weeks and are receiving unemployment compensation under state or federal law. This credit, as it stands today, covering TANF recipients, qualified veterans, ex-felons, vocational rehabilitation referrals, summer youth employees, it's really been a success story. And we've had a number of roundtables around the state that have talked about the companies that have used it. Companies like Microboard Processing in Seymour, Connecticut. Microboard Processing is a company that's growing, a high-tech manufacturing company that has hired 10 individuals using the Workforce Opportunity Tax Credit. It's been pretty easy for their Human Resources Department to manage, and they've been able to bring in 10 new employees that they might not have otherwise brought into the company if it weren't for this specific tax credit. Often companies may not think to target these specific populations, whether they be veterans, recipients of state benefits, or now the long-term unemployed. Now, the long-term unemployed, veterans, individuals who have been on state benefits are going to have a little bit of a leg up in applying for work because of this extra tax credit that employers get around the state. So we're really pleased that we were able to reauthorize this tax credit for the long term, but we're also really excited to add this new category. In Connecticut, we've had a particular problem of finding work for the long-term unemployed, and there are still thousands of individuals here in Connecticut who have been out of work for years and who want to get back into the workforce. And this provision will help them do that. So with that, let me allow our experts to take a turn at the podium. First, let me turn it over to our Commissioner of Labor, my namesake, Dennis Murphy.
Thanks, Mark. Thank you, Senator, and welcome to the American Jobs Center here. Mayor, welcome. I think this is your first visit, yes. And I hope you come visit us many more times. Senator, first let me just start by thanking you for the work that you've done on mental health issues around gun control. I am convinced that the President's work yesterday and statements yesterday were buoyed by and propelled by the work that you're doing, and so I just wanted to thank you for that. The tax credit program here today that we're celebrating, we're very excited at the Department of Labor that this is reauthorized. This 5-year window gives us a period to dig into the applications that we've had on hiatus. Last year we processed over 5,400 certifications for jobs in Connecticut. And as the Senator pointed out, there's categories that qualify people for this tax credit. Of that 5,000, over 4,000 were SNAP beneficiaries. So think about that, of SNAP beneficiaries who now get a job to help them secure and propel their lives forward. The long-term unemployed are a group of category of folks that we've been concerned about now since the Great Recession began. We've noticed it as a large issue. Joe Carbone in the Southwest region is doing tremendously good work around that, as is Tom Phillips here with the Capital Workforce Partners, our partner here in this building, doing tremendously good work. But these folks need to also be recognized as needing some help to motivate employers to hire folks that have been out of work for a long time. You still see ads, if even blatant ads saying if you've been unemployed for more than 6 months, don't apply. And it's wrong because these folks are some of our best workers in the state and in the country. So, Senator, we thank you for this reauthorization. We're excited about it. We can now dig in. As I say, we now have over 30,000 applications that were on hiatus that we now can dig in and go through and qualify these employers for these positions. So thank you very much. And I guess I turn it back to you.
And let me just add, before I introduce Tom Phillips, let me just give you a little bit of detail that I didn't in the opening. This is a tax credit that had expired at the end of 2014. So that's the reason why sort of everything has been stopped, because the tax credit was expired. This is a 5-year reauthorization, and it's retroactive as well. So companies that had hired these individuals over the course of 2015 are deemed eligible for the tax credit for the duration of those employments over the course of 2015. So this was a crisis because the tax credit had expired, and this tax credit now is reauthorized for 5 years and made retroactive. And so you're going to have a lot of employers who are going to be eligible for hires that they may have made. And now with certainty that this tax credit is going to be in existence for the next 5 years, I think you're going to have a flood of interest. And let me introduce Tom Phillips from Capital Workforce Partners to talk about the path forward.
Thank you, Senator. Good morning, everyone. We're really thrilled and really know that federal support for the workforce investment system is so critical. And we're so pleased the work that Senator Murphy did also for the Workforce Innovations and Opportunities Act, which was reauthorized finally. It hadn't been since 1998. And it was a major piece of federal legislation, and the Senator was really a stalwart supporter of that on the Health Committee to make sure that got through. And we're in the process of implementing that with the Department of Labor right now. And we're really excited about that. And the Workforce Opportunities Tax Credit is another part of that toolkit, right, that's going to really help us to address the talent challenges that are out there. And most importantly, as we look at the demographic trends in Connecticut, right, we're the 7th oldest state in the country, and we see a lot of boomers that are going to be heading towards retirement. Where is that replacement workforce going to come from? It's going to come from veterans. It's going to come from people with disabilities. It's going to come from offenders and other populations. And so this tax credit program is going to be kind of an incentive to help us to bridge those folks back into the labor force by incentivizing employers to hire these folks. And so what does that mean? It means that these folks will have less reliance on the public safety net system. They will become consumers, where they will be buying goods and services to stimulate local businesses and to generate tax revenue, which is very, very important. So Capital Workforce Partners and working with the Department of Labor, we look forward to taking full advantage of the tax credit program going forward to put as many people back to work as we possibly can. Thank you.
One of the reasons why we're so excited to have Mayor Bronin here today is that to successfully run a city, you have to be able to integrate local assets, state assets, and federal assets, this being a federal asset that the mayor can help make available and make known to more employers throughout Hartford. And of course, Mayor Bronin brings with him pretty unparalleled experience at the federal government, at the state government, to his new service as mayor of Hartford. So let me introduce Luke Bronin.
Thank you so much, Senator Murphy. Thank you for coming to Hartford to make this important announcement. And to Acting Commissioner Murphy and Tom Phillips, we are in your center here, and we're so grateful for the work that you do in partnership with one another, in partnership with the City of Hartford every day to try to connect residents of the City of Hartford and beyond with employment opportunities. We are standing today in the Northeast neighborhood of Hartford. Northeast neighborhood is part of the Promise Zone that Senator Murphy fought very hard, designation that Senator Murphy fought very hard for. And here in this Promise Zone, in the Northeast neighborhood of Hartford, unemployment stands at about 27%, higher than it was during the Great Depression. There is nothing more important than trying to create job opportunities for residents of this neighborhood and residents in similar circumstances all over the state. And so I'm so grateful to Senator Murphy for the work that he's doing in Washington, for our Department of Labor and the Capital Workforce Partners who are on the front lines every day working together. Senator Murphy said it at the end of his last remarks. What we need to do from the local level is get the word out. We need to make sure that employers understand the opportunity that's out there. There are so many tax credit programs. There are so many resources that go unused because employers don't know about them. And I'm going to do everything I can through my administration and working day by day with our employers here in the city to make sure that everybody recognizes what tools are out there. And anything that I can do, gentlemen, to help anytime, I hope you'll let me know. But in the meantime, thank you so much for the work that you do, and I look forward to working in partnership with you.
Great. Thank you, Mayor. Here's, I think, the bottom line here. Creating a job is a risky decision for an employer. That extra tax credit that's available under this act might be the difference between hiring someone or standing pat. And so this tax credit is not just about help for the individuals that are targeted in this list, people who have been out of work for a long period of time, people on state benefits, but this is a big help to businesses as well. Creating a job in this continuing recovery is not an easy decision for a business. A small tax credit may make the difference between taking that risk and not taking that risk. And as the mayor said, this is about getting the word out. I mean, there are thousands of individuals practically within earshot of this job center who would qualify for this tax credit. And there are hundreds of businesses within earshot that may not even know it exists. And so now that we have certainty, now that we know that we're not in this perpetual cycle of crises where the tax credit is extended for only a year at a time, where it goes expired for a long period of time, now is the moment for all of us to engage in getting the word out. And those 5,000 pending applications will likely become 10,000, 20,000 once businesses know that they have certainty over the next 5 years and an expanded pool of potential applicants to go after. This is a really important part of the tax package that we passed at the end of last year. And the last thing I'll say is this. It passed with bipartisan support. Republicans and Democrats supported this tax package. There were lots of pieces of it that Republicans didn't like. There were lots of pieces of it that Democrats didn't like. But in it is the long-term extension of some really important tax credits to Connecticut. The workforce opportunity tax credit is one of them, but there's the long-term extension of the research and development tax credit, the earned income tax credit, the tax credits for the installation of energy efficient energy sources like wind and solar. So we have finally gotten ourselves out of this governing by crisis mentality that's plagued Washington over the duration of the time that I've been in the Senate. And it's important that we have this new opportunity, and it's important that both Republicans and Democrats supported it. So with that, open it up to questions. Mark?
You said that it was, the new category was people who have been out of work 27 weeks and are collecting unemployment.
And during that, and I might have misspoken, during part of that period of time, collected state benefits. So they don't have to be currently collecting benefits.
So it's like if you're out a year, you wouldn't
Yep.
be collecting it.
No. So you've been out for 27 weeks or more, and during a portion of that period of unemployment, you are collecting benefits.
Senator, Mr. Brennan Ronan here is now running a business that's got financial problems. Are municipalities able to take advantage of this in hiring?
I don't think municipalities are eligible for
They
this.
can't
This is
get a tax
just, I think this is just private,
For private
it's just for private businesses. Yeah, we'll double check on
Good idea,
that.
though.
Municipalities don't
We don't pay
pay
taxes.
don't pay income tax.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, they don't need a section.
Yeah, that's right.
So businesses apply for this and then.
Yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about how it works, just from a practical standpoint?
Is there a cap on the amount of money dedicated to this, or?
No, there's not. So there's not a federal cap on the amount of money. So the federal government will pay out so long as you qualify, and to qualify, you've got to be hiring an individual in one of these categories. And there is a cap on the percentage of the wages that will be covered, such that for most employers the cap is $2,400 that it will cover. So there's a limit on how much money you can get per employee, but there's not a limit on the number of slots
So if
that.
like $3 billion is claimed, then $3 billion will be claimed.
That's
That's correct. Yep.
Yep, that's
Yeah,
correct.
I didn't see any cap.
Yep. All right. Great. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us here today, and thank you to Dennis. Congratulations. We have two congratulations to send to our new commissioner, our acting commissioner, our new mayor, and of course to Tom Phillips. So thank you, everybody.
Let me just say, if there's any specific questions, go to our Department of Labor website. You'll see a WOTC drop-down, and that has all the specifics on the application process.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you.